What's going on, everyone? This is Rob Anthony with Anthony Talks Too Much, where we talk travel, fitness, flight attendant life, biohacking, and personal mastery. I have been gone a long time, but I'm excited to be back, so you know I got a lot to say, so let's get started. Where have I been? Y'all, I have come out of my winter. I have been in the longest winter of my life, and I'm not talking about this season. I am talking about the personal cocoon of self-transformation and growth, hibernation that I've been doing. I literally think that I've been gone like 2 years. This is a really long time. I pretty much gave up social media. I haven't been on Facebook, been very inactive on Instagram. I took a very long hiatus to focus on myself, focus on my healing, focus on my growth after the pandemic really changed all of our lives and uprooted my life in Dubai and brought me back to the US where I wasn't really expecting it or ready to come home. So I want to talk to you guys about this journey. I want to fill you in on where I've been, and I'm doing this off the cuff. I don't have anything prepared. I am a recovering perfectionist. Y'all know I like to come with really good content, and at the end of the day, that kind of self-sabotaged what I was doing because I really just wanted to record stuff to get out to you guys, to inspire you, to educate you, and to entertain you, depending on which videos you watch. We got a little bit of it all. But that perfectionism really stopped me from doing work because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how to do a lot of this shit. I don't understand the algorithms of how to be successful on social media or what I'm supposed to put in the description of this so it gets seen on YouTube. I'm not a great editor, so it takes me a really long time. You know, in order to do stuff like this, you have to be multi-talented. This isn't just like back in the day when I used to be an actor and I showed up on set knowing my lines and everybody else did all the other parts of the pre and post production. You've got to do it all. So kudos to all the big YouTubers and people and influencers, digital content creators that are doing this stuff. I'm just here because I like to talk and I like to share and I like to connect with you guys. So I'm not gonna let those things hold me back. And I made a commitment to myself that I'm gonna restart this. I'm reinvigorated, but I'm also not gonna care about the perfectionism. I'm not gonna care if the volume's too loud or whatever. I'm not gonna spend forever editing it. I'm not gonna prepare a script and edit myself into sounding completely perfect. I'm just gonna shoot this and put it up. So if you enjoy it, give it a like, follow, whatever, share it, and if not, cool, thanks for stopping by. So what do I want to tell you guys about? Well, I've been gone for 2 years, so as many of you know, I was a cabin crew for Emirates Airline for over 4 years, and it was the experience of a lifetime. It was a job I fought really, really hard to get. I interviewed many times over the course of a year, and finally I got it. And my story with Emirates is something that will be in another video, and maybe at some point it'll pop up here. But I'm not going to talk about that now. I did lose the job. They ended up firing 30,000 of us at the start of the pandemic. They really didn't plan well. They should have offered people furloughs. It could have been handled much better. People were literally called into the office or into an auditorium where they were thinking they were going to get an update about what was happening with COVID. This is back in like April, May, June of 2020, where we didn't even really know what the long-term effects were going to be. And instead of getting an update, they got a letter that said, sorry, because of the situation, you're fired. Essentially, the redundant is the term that they use over in that part of the world to make it sound nicer. So that story you can probably find on YouTube. I'll share my own version of events at some point, but the focus of today is I just want to tell you about this journey that happened to me when I left, because what that grounding I did, I think for all of us, was obviously caused us to take some reflection in our lives. And I did say this at the beginning of the pandemic when I was doing the Shirtless and Scruffy series, trying to use a little sex appeal to get some education out to you guys. I did say use this time wisely. I was very grateful that we had a large amount of time to catch up on our sleep and also to improve ourselves. And what really kicked this journey off for me, aside from being a biohacker while I was being a flight attendant, trying to learn how to optimize my body and stay healthy in that crazy job, was reading the 5 a.m. Club. So if you haven't watched those videos of me looking really stupid with a beard and being shirtless, go ahead and watch them somewhere. There is some good information, and that really kickstarted my journey. I got into a positive morning routine. I forced myself to do meditation, which is something that I promise you, I thought I would never get into, and now I do it every single day. Can you believe it? These past 2 years was really a huge growth for me, a huge transformation, spiritual awakening, whatever you want to call it, where I had to really look within, look at what was happening around my life and decide, like, do I want to continue on this path, or do I want to make a choice and take ownership of my life? And the number one way you do that is through your thoughts, through your beliefs, and through recognizing that you have the power to change. We are not victims, y'all. I don't know why I'm suddenly a Texan now. I did spend the summer in Texas pursuing a real estate career. So again, that's going to be another video. I'm all over the place, you guys. Seriously, like I'm an idea generator. I start things. I started a podcast. I did a couple episodes that I haven't picked back up on. I start multiple projects. My moon, if you're into astrology, is in Gemini, so I'm super creative, but also Geminis need a lot of stimulation, so I also need to learn to bring that in and focus myself, which I have been doing. So that's why I'm committed to getting back to filming content for you guys and sharing my experiences. But the past 2 years, I think for everyone, was really hard. We all had a lot of loss. I'm not gonna sit here and make a video of complaints, but there were a couple situations that happened in my life that really brought me to a dark place. Really, I would say probably depression. I'm not going to say I was, because I never got clinically diagnosed, and I don't believe in long-term medication. I do believe that you have the power to change your thoughts. Although if you're feeling depressed or suicidal, obviously speak to someone. But the point is, I was living kind of in a victim mentality, like, why is this happening to me? It was very hard for me to pull myself out of. 2020 wasn't so bad for me because I didn't actually get back to the US. We were fired in June of 2020. I didn't get back to the US until basically November. They fired us even though there were no flights for us to go home on. So we were stuck in Dubai, continuing to live in the cabin crew accommodation because of course they can't kick us out, but we're not working, we're not getting paid, so we're all eating up our savings on the most expensive layover there is, which is in Dubai. And so I just used that time, you know, with the other people to enjoy life, to do all the things that we didn't have time to do when we were being a flight attendant. But when I came back to the US, I had to move back in with my family and pick myself back on my feet. And I was dealing with a lot of things. 2021 began with my uncle, who was my father figure because my father passed away when I was in high school. He unfortunately passed away. I had a huge falling out with one of my nearest and dearest friends, which really also kind of kickstarted this journey, because that proved to me that the thoughts you speak do become your realities. And maybe I'll do another video on that lesson, but that moment really showed me what consciousness is, and what you speak becomes true. And that's what ultimately led to what happened. I had made an investment in a real estate property that I was excited to move back into. Unfortunately, the tenants completely trashed it. They smoked inside. The remediation cost me thousands and thousands of dollars and resulted in a court case that is still ongoing to this day in appeals. It's ridiculous. I mean, you would think if people are documented smoking and damaging your property, it would be easy to get the money from them, but it's not. I learned a lot about the court system, and that's ultimately what all of this 1 to 2 years has been about for me. It's been about lessons, but recognizing that they are lessons and not being upset by them. You have to find the silver lining. If you don't find the silver lining, you're not going to get out of it. So if you are watching this, that means you are meant to hear this message. Take it from me. I wasted a lot of time in 2021. I'm so excited about 2022. I'm recording this on February 8th, 2022. I'm really excited about this year. I've got a lot of creative projects in the work that I can't share with you yet. I'm starting as a flight attendant with Alaska Airlines, so many things, but what I want to tell you is you have to find the lesson first. If you are stuck, if you're feeling down, there are things that happen that are out of our control, but instead of trying to manipulate them, instead of trying to control them, using your ego, you have to sometimes do the best you can to manage, feel what you need to feel. This isn't about repressing emotions, but you need to take action to always find the good. Even if somebody dies, I mean, you guys, these things happen. We're all gonna die one day. You need to find the lesson, why this came to you in that moment, and find the gratitude in every horrible thing. Thank you for this court case, I would say. Thank you for this falling out with my best friend that taught me to think this way or showed me that. So that's the first thing. Number one, I want to tell you guys, if you're having a hard time, or I'm going to tell you 3 lessons today, probably, if I can remember it. And the first one is to find the lesson, find the gratitude, find the blessing in the lesson, because that's the only way that you're going to come out of it. And when you do that, sometimes when you release things, that's when the solutions come. That's what happened with a lot of things that I was dealing with in terms of this, this property that got destroyed and this court case. I'm going to do a whole video on that, okay? Because I have other things to say, and that's a really interesting story. But you've got to find the gratitude. So it was hard for me, you guys. I'm not lying. Like, plus my environment was tough. Like, moving back home when you're in your mid-30s is also difficult. You know, you have to... I think that's something else that's really important, is recognizing your environment and how that can impede you, because sometimes, for instance, moving back with family might seem like a good idea on paper, but if they trigger you, or if it's not really moving you forward in your life, or if you're such a giver that when you're with your family you tend to put them first and do everything for them. You know, for instance, like, I really help my mom when I live with her, and I kind of become her like personal assistant, and then at some point I realized, well, this isn't benefiting me. I love the opportunity, the time that I got to spend with my family over the holidays, to spend time with my mom after living in Dubai for so many years. But at some point you've got to look, if you feel stuck or feel like your growth is stunted, you've got to look at your environment, because my environment was holding me back. I wasn't free to do the things I needed to do to transform, to blossom into this amazing person I am now. No, but seriously, your environment can hold you back. So even if, like, for instance, you think, oh, I'm moving back with my family to save money, well, that money that you might be saving isn't really worth it if you're not getting your stuff together then to be independent and leave. You know what I mean? Like, family, I love them, we love them, they help us, they're there for us, but sometimes they can hijack you. They can hijack your aspirations, your dreams, or what you need to do in that moment, just simply because there's other people involved. And what I found is I really needed to, like, literally go to a cabin in the woods, isolate myself, to do the things I needed to do the growth, to do the healing work, to work on these creative projects. And I did. I'm literally in an extended stay hotel currently. I have not lived in a proper place since coming back to Dubai in over 1.5 years. My stuff is all in storage. I've been living in and out of suitcases, doing different things, living in Airbnbs, living with my family sometimes, living at my mom's when she goes out of town. I've been all over the place because I don't know where I want to settle. And then eventually I got this job offer with Alaska Airlines, which I don't even know where I'll be based. So I'm just going with the flow. And that is my second lesson I want to tell you, is you've got to say yes. This is what I started. I started doing this in Dubai. I think I started during the pandemic. I said, you know what, I'm just going to say yes to, like, everything that comes my way. You might see me tossing this around. It's a stone also. I've gotten into some stones and crystals. I don't know how to focus my camera also. Got to work on that. Ooh, yeah, it's cool. I really got into astrology this year. Not like the horoscopes and stuff, but I do believe in the natal chart, and your natal chart being kind of a blueprint of your life. Not necessarily a predictor, but something that can help you understand patterns and understand why you are the way you are, so you can make informed choices. And all of these things, astrology, manifestation, religion, spirituality, whatever you want to call it, I do believe it's all the same thing. It's all somehow whatever works for you to get you to the point where you are trying to work with a higher power and better yourself and contribute to the life of others. It's all the same thing, right? So it doesn't matter if you're going to church and praying, or doing that alone in your bedroom, or holding a stone and having a witchcraft ceremony with Eliza Kelly. Fucking love her. You know, and I've gone through different things, trial and error, tried things. I was really into astrology for a couple months. I got so many natal chart readings done. I was learning about the moon energy, learning to journal with the moon energy, to process these things that I was going through. And now that doesn't really work for me so much, so I'm trying different things. So I want to tell you, say yes, because that's how I discovered a lot, or not how I discovered, how a lot of great things came to me this year. And for sure, I'm going to focus on the flight attendant thing. So, yes, I'm happy to announce I am returning to the skies. It's something I did not think literally would ever happen because I would have planned a lot of the past year differently. This was something that I did at the very last minute. I have a couple friends that work for Alaska Airlines, and at the time I had decided I wanted to start a real estate career, which I am still interested in doing, but you know, my friends were messaging me. They said, hey, Alaska is going to open up. It's a good time to get in right now because they're going to hire a lot of people underneath you. And, you know, with Emirates, unfortunately, I joined at their peak, and then they had a hiring freeze, and all of these things happened that prevented anybody from upgrading for years. So I was stuck working in economy class for over 4 years, which is like a jungle. You're not meant to be in economy class that long. It is somewhere where you pay your dues. In the Gulf, they work in like a hierarchy structure. So you pay your dues and you get out. But unfortunately, instead of 1 to 2 years like we were promised, people were frozen indefinitely. And then with COVID, like, forget about it. So anyway, I never thought I wanted to be a flight attendant again. Especially, Emirates was very tiring. You had no control of your roster. That's the other thing I'm going to tell you guys. I'm happy to continue doing more videos now about Emirates. I didn't post a lot because they had very strict social media guidelines, and I didn't want to be super negative, but I do want to tell people what the reality is of working there, because again, it was the experience of a lifetime. I'm so grateful for it. I wouldn't take it back, but there are practices there that I don't necessarily agree with, and that you can find all over the internet. I think there's even a hate website dedicated to Emirates called, like, I don't even know what it's called, but you can find it. So there's no shortage of the complaints working for this company, but it is an amazing company. It is an amazing experience, but I want people to know just to manage your expectations if you do want to become a cabin crew, because it's not all the glamour that it seems like on social media. It's a tough company to work for. The management is very strict. They're not very sympathetic or empathetic. And there's a lot of practices that happen behind the scenes that are a little eyebrow raising. So we can get into that, but long story long, that was, I didn't want to be a flight attendant anymore, mostly because of the health effects or, detriment to your body. When I came back, it was amazing to be on like a healthy routine, up early, up at the same time every day. I wanted to get a dog, which you can't do when you're a flight attendant. But anyway, my friend said, just try. And I was like, no, I want to do real estate. I don't want to be a flight attendant anymore. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with my schedule always being controlled. But they said, just try. You never know. If you get the opportunity, you can say no. So I said yes. I did the interview at the last minute. The video interview, was asked immediately to do an in-person interview. I had gone to the in-person interview and thought I was going to bomb it. They ended up loving me. They were just very interested in working, what it was like to work at Emirates. And so I'm very proud that I had that experience, because that for sure got me the job. Working at Emirates, I think, in aviation is an amazing thing on your record, because it has such a high standard for customer service. And I mean, safety, we're operating the largest planes in the sky. So that it takes a lot to work for that airline that people don't really understand. So it was nice to have another company respect that. And I'm really excited to work for Alaska Airlines. They asked me, are you sure you're going to be happy here? Like, do you think it's going to be boring? And I was like, no, I won't boring right now. Like, I am happy to work on a small plane, to be able to be engaged with customers, talk to people, rather than just running around the 380 with like a chicken with my head cut off, not being able to make connections just because there's so few flight attendants working those flights and too many passengers. So Alaska, I think, is going to be really great for me. I'm excited because, in the US, it's a different gig. You get to have control of your roster once you're senior and get off of the reserve system, which is how they start you off in most airlines in the US here. You pay your dues on reserve, and it can be months, it can be years, and then eventually you have a schedule that you can control and swap and bid. So I'm really stoked, because I think it's going to be a great thing to be able to do while I focus on other things part-time. Obviously, I'm super creative. I like to have a lot of things cooking in the kitchen, and I think this job will mesh well with what I want to do in my life. And it wouldn't have happened if I didn't say yes. I was intent on saying no. My friends convinced me to say yes. And who knows, maybe I'm only going to do it for a couple months, a couple years. Like, you can't always have such a plan set in place. Sometimes you just got to say yes, go with the flow, see why the universe has brought you this opportunity. Maybe I'm going to meet someone. Maybe it's going to move me to a city that I'm going to end up loving. Who knows? I'm just open to the experience. I said yes, and now I'm starting soon. So I don't think I'm gonna go back to being like a flight attendant vlogger. I don't really see the point in just being like, this is what I'm doing on my layover, which is what I wanted to do with Emirates, and then ended up only doing a couple videos because it was very hard to manage all of that and do all the other things I was trying to do. But I do wanna do something for flight attendants. I wanna contribute in a way my passions, and I think like biohacking and trying to teach people how to be healthy during travel, is very important because flight attendants are very understudied in terms of like the medical community. I mean, think about this job that we're doing, which has so many detrimental health effects on our body, yet nobody's really studied this community to see what are the long-term effects and damages of being in a plane so long. What are the long-term effects of having to be on reserve from midnight to 12 a.m. for years? So it's definitely not something, if you're health conscious, to do, which I am. So I think that will be tough, but I'm going to try my best to manage it and share my tips with you guys. So that's the other thing I wanted to tell you. What else? Do I have any notes? No, I didn't really take notes, but I wrote one thing. Recovery and discovery is what I wrote. So going back to, are you using this time wisely? A lot of people, like I said in my other videos, you can use this time to like sit around and watch Netflix or really work on yourself. And I think now that we're 2 years out, most people ended up doing the latter, starting businesses, having career pivots. I mean, the world is literally having an awakening right now. We have a shortage of people working jobs in the US because nobody wants to go back to the job that they were doing, getting paid a measly salary for something they didn't even enjoy. So I think everyone has kind of really used this time to say, like, I'm taking stock of my life, I'm recovering from what I was doing. COVID obviously grounded all of us. Flights were grounded. We were all grounded in Dubai. We used the time to recover physically, to sleep, to catch up on sleep. And I'm not saying don't watch Netflix. Go ahead. Like, you need to relax. You need to have self-care and whatnot. But you can sit through this entire pandemic and complain about the mask mandates or complain about the vaccine or complain about whatever else is happening. Or you can say, this is the opportunity to change my life, to make a decision, to make a choice, to make a pivot, to do something. So in your recovery time from whatever had happened, from whoever passed away, whatever job you were fired from, whatever horrible thing was happening in your life, you can also discover yourself again. And then that is what is going to lead to this ultimate growth. And that's what I feel like is happening for me now. And I know I sound positive and optimistic right now, but I'm telling you, it was like a year and a half of darkness, and I really struggled. And that struggle, though, is where I transformed. That's where I worked on myself. And without those struggles, I wouldn't be where I am today, which is exactly where I need to be. So I think I'm going to end there. Those are my 3 things I want to tell you guys. Find the lesson, find the blessing in the lesson, and whatever hardship you're going through. Say yes to the opportunities that come your way, and use this recovery time to discover yourself again. And that's what I feel like I've done. So I'm excited to get back to vlogging, to sharing content with you guys, to engaging with you guys. I know my Instagrams are all over the place. I think I need like a business mentor to tell me what to do. I don't know if I want to keep Flex Around the World because I'm so proud of all the pictures that I had there. And I kind of want to like archive it because they're so nice. If I start putting new pictures up, no one's going to see the old ones. And my time with Emirates is something that's really special to me. All of those pictures that I took, it's a once in a lifetime experience that is never, I'm not going to say I won't be able to do again, but it will never be that experience again. So I don't know what I'm doing. I'm all over the place, but I'm just trying and I'm just going for it. And that is the motto of this year, say yes. So I hope that resonated with you guys. I hope you've been well. I hope that is a quick update as to why I've been gone so long. My channel's probably going to become a little confusing because I have so many old videos that I'm going to try now to really edit and get up, especially like layovers with Emirates, just to get that footage up there because I've shot it, so I might as well share it with you guys. So there's going to be a lot of time jumping, but it is what it is. So that's what I've got for you today. Sorry, I was just distracted by the time. 26 minutes. Wow. Well, I really do talk a lot. So that's all. This channel is not going to get shorter. So this is for the people that want to hang out with me, eat their dinner while I am blabbering on, hopefully some content that helps you guys. So that's all I got for now. Until next time. I guess I need like an ending. I'll work on it. Okay. Bye.